Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video I'm gonna be talking about 5 input tricks in King of Fighters that should make your life a lot easier when playing this game. I know a lot of people are having some difficulties with the execution, and we're gonna start first with an input trick that should be very valuable to almost everyone, and that is for the quarter circle in one direction into a half circle in the other type of super input. Every character have a level 3 or like a climax super that is quarter circle back into a half circle forward, and then you press the two heavy buttons, right? This is very common for this game. A character like Terry have his power geyser, which is this input as well. If you take a look at my inputs here, getting the input proper should look something like this. I did quarter circle back and then moved it to a half circle forward and did a punch, and I got the power geyser. Now this input can be tricky for a lot of newcomers, a lot of beginners, and obviously getting it out like quickly enough in some of the cancels can be tricky. Thankfully there are a couple of alternative input methods that can be very helpful. Starting first with one which is doing a quarter circle back and then a quarter circle forward. So instead of doing half circle forward, you just do a quarter circle forward, and this should also give you the power geyser. Take a look at my input here. I did quarter circle back, quarter circle forward and punch, and that still gave me the super. Now there is another method that is even crazier, and that you do 2 quarter circle backs and then just press forward and punch, and this will also give you the super. So take a look at my inputs here. I didn't do anything near a half circle forward, and I still got the super to come out. So for example, if we are using a character like Terry, we want to cancel the burn knuckle into the power geyser, and you find it hard to press like quarter circle back and then a full half circle, you can just do quarter circle back and punch, quarter circle forward and punch, right? And this should give you the super. Right? So I just did quarter circle back and punch, quarter circle forward and punch, and that gave me super. So let's now talk about another input trick that is actually very helpful as well, and that one have to do with dragon punches or DPs. DPs can be done by the regular motion, which is forward, down, down, forward and punch, and obviously it should look something like this. You can also do forward and then quarter circle forward and punch, and that will give you a DP as well. But the really cool shortcut that you can do is a half circle back and then forward and punch, and this should give you a TP, right? So you might be wondering, why would you want to do that? It is more complicated, right? It's more complex to do a half circle back and then forward than just forward into a fireball motion, right? This is trickier, but it's very helpful actually because of what you wanna do or what you wanna cancel the DP into. For example, for KO there is the super, right? Which is quarter circle back into half circle forward, or if you notice my input, I did the input trick I just told you about, which is fireball backwards into fireball forwards, right? But if you wanna cancel this off of the DP, this is genuinely difficult, right? If you want to do like the full cancel out of the DP, it is not impossible of course, but it's a lot harder than if you did the input trick I just showed you, because for this one you had already done the first input of the fireball. So you're gonna do a half circle back into forward and then punch for the DP, another quarter circle forward and punch to complete the super input, and this will give you this. Right? So take a look at my inputs here, half circle back, forward and punch, just another quarter circle forward, and that gave me the super. So if you ever wondered how can you get the DP into this fireball super easily with KO, well, there you go. The next input trick have to do with charge characters. For example, a character like Ash, and it is the ability to run and then still be able to charge and get a flash kick style move out. Ash have a flash kick style attack. You charge down and then press forward and kick, and obviously you get this special. So you might be wondering, Mura, how are you able to do this? When are you charging? And the truth is I am charging as he is running. The trick here is obviously to run you press forward, right? and if you hold forward, the character will keep running forward. So what you can do is forward and then hold down forward. Take a look at my input. I am holding down forward, and because I am holding down as well as the forward direction, the character will keep running, but I'm also charging. I just press up and kick, and bam, you get the flash kick to come out with Ash. This is gonna make your life a lot easier with characters like him. Like if you're running towards the opponent, you see them jump, you still get to anti-air them in time. It's actually really helpful. Obviously there aren't that many charge characters in KOF 15, but it's still an input trick that should be very helpful for the few characters who are able to use it. The next step should be very helpful for characters who have command grabs, and it does include smart use of the run mechanic. In King of Fighters, you press forward and the character will run. You can cancel the run into an attack, into a roll, into a jump, and the character will transition from running into these actions immediately. But notice when you're trying to run and then block or like stop in place, there are a couple of frames of transition here, like it's a little bit laggy. And for a character like Shurmi, who does have a close range command grab, it is done by doing a half circle forward and punch. We can actually use these properties of the run to our advantage. You will run, and because the motion starts with back, right, when you press the back at the start of the motion, she will not stop in place. So what you want to do is you want to run and then quickly do the half circle forward motion, right, and you will not run, stop, and then command grab. She will pretty much run and cancel the run into the command grab. This will make you get your command grab out very quickly, and it shall improve your pressure game with characters like her tremendously. Obviously a lot of characters in King of Fighters have command grabs, so your pressure is gonna be a lot scarier with a character like Shurmi. Clark is a very good example of how you can use this mechanic in a very beneficial way. Now Clark obviously have a command grab super, it is this one. You do two half circle backs, and obviously it's a very cool and very obnoxious super if you're fighting against him. Now what you want to do is you want to do forward, and this will transition you into the dash or the run animation, and then half circle back, and you have to do this really quickly, right, and then tap forward. And if you do it right, Clark will actually buffer the first input or the first part of the super input and then keep running. This is an example of me doing it. I did forward, completed a half circle back motion, and then pressed forward again, and Clark kept running. Now all you have to do now is another half circle back as you are running, and you will actually be able to get the super to come out. So it should look something like this. So there you go, right? Now this obviously does require some execution. This is a fairly difficult one, but it's extremely helpful because you get to run into like an invincible command grab super. You can do it really fast to mess up with your opponent. It's a very powerful tool obviously, and for a character like Clark, it's amazing. Talk about what is probably the most important input trick in this game, and that is the input buffer system. Some call it the hold trick. And obviously in KOF there are a lot of combos, a lot of cancels, a lot of juggles, and it can be hard to find the right timing for everything. For example, for Mai, after a fireball backward with a light punch, you can juggle the EX version, and manually timing the EX version here, I mean, that can actually be pretty difficult. Now what you can do in this game is you can do the follow-up attacks, the attacks that you want to cancel or juggle into. You can do it a little bit early, right, and then hold the button, right, so you do quarter circle back and then hold the two punches, and the game will give it to you when it is possible. It will pretty much keep it in a buffer and, you know, kinda make it come out when it is possible. This will make timing everything a lot easier. You're pretty much auto timing like every, you know, cancel opportunity or juggle opportunity, and this will apply to a lot of situations. Here for example, this was a juggle combo, but you can use it for some tricky cancels as well. For example, with Mai, you can cancel her elbow into the aerial super, and then you can do the grounded double fireball forward super. And yeah, if you try to manually time this, it can be kind of tricky, but with the whole trick you pretty much just do the 2/4 circle forward and then hold the punch buttons and the game will auto time it for you. If you wanna play this game, this technique is a must. Like the others you can kinda live without, but this one is almost a must if you wanna get anywhere with this game. And that is pretty much it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page, the Discord server and Twitter page in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.